Welcome to Step 3 of the 4.0 Information Literacy module as part of the larger Grosse Pointe Union High School District graduation technology requirement. In Step 3, we're all about analyzing and evaluating information. Are our sources any good? Can we use them and should we use them? That's what we're going to find out. So our objective is to analyze and evaluate the sources that we've identified and ask ourselves, are they suitable for use for this research project? We have a process established that is going to help us do that. Let's first take a look at this table that we have and understand what it's asking us to do. Our first task is we need to bring over the URL or link sources from the 3 sources we identified from Google search. So let's go up and do that now. If we look at these are our 3 Google search, so copy them one at a time and then paste them into the boxes here. I've already done it. When you're finished, it'll look like this. Now we're going to go through and we're going to analyze and evaluate each source individually. Source 1 in this column, source 2 in this column, and source 3 in this column. We're going to be using this rubric to generate a score based on the information we see about this certain task. So let's go through source 1 together as an example. Again, my topic is different. I have internet piracy. So these are the sources that I've identified in step 2. So let's analyze them and see if they're any good. So the first thing we want to look for when we're analyzing a source is the author information. So let's go ahead and click and open up this digitalmusicnews.com. So here's the website I see here. It has a name at the top. It's got an author. It's recent. What music piracy really looks like in 2019. If we scroll down, let's look at the author, Daniel Sanchez. Do we have contact information about him? Let's see. The end of the article. Okay, about the author. He's an industry writer. We can click and follow his link and follow up and see who he is. And we have a little bit of a description here. There we go. So we have some information about the author and information. So now let's go and let's open up our rubric. So if we click and open up the rubric, this is how we're going to generate our score. So this is the information that I've identified in terms of the author information from this source. We had a name, generic background information, and there was his contact info was provided. Let's rate that now using our score. So it's a scale of 3 being highest and 1 being 0. The author is right here. What are his credentials? So I would give this, the author's credentials indicate that he is an expert on the topic. Yes, it said that. The author gives contact info, yes, or professional affiliation. The answer was yes to both of those. If we look here, he gave us contact information. He's an industry writer, so he's familiar with the music business. So we would give it a 3 total. And now we can go back to our table and indicate a 3 here. So again, information you observed about the author and information, and then the score based on the rubric. Let's take a look at the next section. We need to look at the publisher information. Who is this published by? Who made this? Who's putting this out there for our consumption? And so let's go identify information in the article about where it's published. So I've never heard of Digital Music News before, but I'm only one person. That doesn't mean much about me. I do know it's a .com. There was tons of advertisements. You see all the advertisements that are over here. Okay, so that means that a lot of people are paying to put their content inside of here. We see advertisements embedded actually in the article here. So they're relying heavily on advertisements to keep their publication afloat. But at least it lets me know who these people are. All right, so some observations I have. Never heard of it before. It looks like small. Only 3 people are working there, but it does let me know who they are, and there was lots of ads that were there. So now let's go rate this. Is the source published by a reputable publisher organization? Not published by the government. It's not published by a known newspaper, or like New York Times, for example. Published by a K through 12 school. An unknown business, basically, is what it is. I don't know what digital news is. It's a .com website. There are a couple of people working there, so I wouldn't give it a 0 because it's not self-published. the author has a couple of the people working with him, so I would give it a 1. And so again, let's transfer that score of a 1 over to here. As I go down the line and take a look at the sources that are cited, so let's go look and let's analyze for sources being cited. And let's look at the rubric. So sources cited, it's the information cited. So here's the rating for sources cited. The work is original research done by a reputable source. There is a works cited list or a bibliography. So we want to look and see if there's a works cited list. Let's see if there's a works cited list in here. I see in-text citations. So these are citations to other sources that he's pulling in. Lots of links here to other sources that are embedded within. So there are some hyperlinked in-text citations, but I don't see a works cited page. No works cited page. So then we would not be able to give this a 3. Let's take a look at 2. Published by a known organization, university, business, magazine, newspaper, or a print book. The work is a compilation of research, info by a reputable source. No works cited, that's true. As a compilation means a combination of multiple sources put together. There is a statement about the source of information embedded in the source. Embedded means inserted within it, but no works cited. So that's what I'm leaning towards. All of the sources for this text are embedded inside of it. See these links here? Those are the sources that this author is using to make his claim or his statements. Lots of embedded links in here with no works cited page. That seems like a bullseye for number 1. So let's number 1 and let's transfer it over. And these are my thoughts. Several sources were written into the article, but no works cited list. Those are my observations. Let's take a look at the purpose of information. So on the rubric, what does that mean? Why was the information published? Was it to promote scholarly research, to provide factual information, some opinions in there, to sell something, to persuade, or to promote an idea, or for personal or entertainment purposes? Well, it's not for entertainment purposes. It's a pretty important topic. Let's go take a look. Okay. I'm leaning more towards number 2 here. It provides lots of factual information. There are some opinions, so he makes some opinions about the information that's in there, but most of it is factual. It's not scholarly research. It's not from a university. It's not from the government of any kind. And it's not, again, from a college or university research. So we're going to go 2. Let's transfer our score over. These are my thoughts. Stays on task, is relevant, not from a university. Take a look at the date and information, the currency of this. If this is something that's a little more recent, we maybe give it a little more credence or weight. So let's see the date that it was published. According to the rubric, how current is the information? To get a 3, the info is less than 1 year old. For a print, the info is less than 3 years old. So it's basically a timeline. How old is this information? If it's this old, we give it this grade. So let's go up to the very top. May 11th, 2017. So that was a year and a half ago. So it's not less than 1 year old. It's online. The info is less than 3 years old. So there we go. It was a year and a half old and it's online. So we give that a 2 for the date. Here are my thoughts. And let's put the score in. Finally, we're going to look at the substance of the information. If we take a look at the substance, who are the people that are writing this? And let's go give them a grade. So for substance, we're looking at depth of coverage, written for the general public, lacking depth. I'd say there's pretty good depth. There's lots of source integration. So we will give it a 3 with a total of 12. And let's go back. Again, here are my thoughts. There's a 3. And there's a 12. So that's how we're going to use the rubric to analyze these three sources. And then again,